So after warning us about the temptations of the devil last week as we started our Lenten journey, this week on the Second Sunday of Lent, the church presents to us the story of the Transfiguration to give us hope and encouragement on our Lenten journey. So in the first reading, God renews his promises to Abraham. In chapter 12 of Genesis, God promises Abraham a son, an heir. But there was no son. And so Abraham is saying, what's going on here? And so in chapter 15, where our first reading comes from, God renews those promises and extends them, not only promising him an heir, but promising him numerous descendants and prosperity. God's passing his fire through the split animals. It was an ancient ritual to renew a covenant. It was as if the people were saying as they passed through the animals, hey, let this happen to me if I don't make good on the covenant that I have here, that I'll be split like these animals. In the second reading, Paul is addressing the community in Philippi, and he's telling them, look, be like me, and if you act like me and other believers, right, you'll have the promise to be transformed like Christ into the body of Christ. But he warns them that if they don't believe, that if they look more on their own bodily satisfaction, that their God is their stomach, he says, then they have no sense of that higher hope, and their conduct will gradually lead them into ruin, since they do not have the hope that sustains Christians. Our gospel is Luke's account of the Transfiguration. This gospel passage is pivotal in Luke. Right before this passage, Luke is talking about his impending passion and death, how he will be crucified when he goes to Jerusalem. And right after the Transfiguration, Luke says that he heads to Jerusalem. The next 10 chapters of Luke's gospel is his journeying towards Jerusalem. All of the gospel accounts in Matthew, Mark, and Luke all talk about how at the Transfiguration, Jesus converses with Moses and Elijah. But it's only in Luke's gospel that he tells us what they were conversing about, what they were talking about. He says that they were talking about Jesus' exodus. See, like Moses, Jesus is to go through an exodus. Where Moses' exodus was from Egypt, Jesus' exodus will be from Jerusalem, where he's heading towards. Jesus' exodus is his death, resurrection, and ascension. And he brings us all, wants us all to be in that exodus with him. A couple of questions to think about. What mountaintop have you had that reminds you of God's presence? Who are the people in your life that you find it difficult to see God's light within them?